What's up, guys? My name is GilgameshV9, and I've got a pretty special video for you guys today. So, on the forums, there's been a lot of talk about a new patch that's upcoming. I think that it's coming out on November 7th, because that's the N7 day. That would be kind of cool for them to do, but there's definitely talk about a patch. So, what I did is I scoured through pretty much all the information that surfaced that BioWare has confirmed is going to be in the patch. I'm sure that there's a lot of stuff that hasn't been mentioned that they are going to fix, a lot of glitches and stuff, but these are the things that they for sure have fixed. So let's get started. One of the things that they are going to change in the upcoming patches, they are going to buff snipers, because as we all know now that snipers are kind of outclassed due to the shield gate mechanic. You either do not that much damage but have multiple shots, or you do a lot of damage in one shot, but shield gate kind of messes with that. So right now it's kind of like, okay, why would I use a sniper rifle when I can use the Geth plasma shotgun or the Claymore or something like that? So what they're going to do to offset that is that they've hinted that snipers will be able to headshot bosses, which I think will do a good job to offset that. So you'll be able to headshot Atlases, Primes, and Banshees. As for the Atlas, I don't know if it's going to be specifically a headshot. Maybe it might be like a, like the rear part or something like that. Who knows? But definitely going to get bonus damage with sniper rifles if you're accurate with them, which I think is a good way to do it. It promotes accuracy and actually sniping, so that's good. Next thing they're going to fix is they said they're going to try and fix magnet hands. So if you don't know what that is, that's pretty much any enemy that can sync kill you. Sometimes they will kill you from pretty far away. This is especially noticeable in Banshees and Phantoms is mostly when I see it. Atlases and Brutes, I don't really see too often doing this, but pretty much it's, you get instant killed from farther away than you should be able to, and they said that they are going to fix that, so I'm assuming it'd just be that you have to be closer and that it won't, lag and kill you from really far away. So that's a thing. They also said that they are going to adjust the gear, because some gear bonuses are way better than others. Like, for example, densified ammunition. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know that if you use densified ammunition, it increases your damage with weapons more than if you were just using an assault rifle rail amp, which, in my opinion, you should get more damage out of an assault rifle rail amp than densified ammunition, because densified ammunition is all of the weapons. So I think you should get more of a damage bonus if you're choosing to specialize. So that's just my opinion. So they said they are going to rebalance it, tweak it a little bit. So I think that they're going to buff rail amps. Like I said, I think that would make more sense. So that's probably what they'll do. They also said that they're going to adjust the Drell, because before a lot of the DLC classes came out, the Drell was the glass cannon caster. The Geth Infiltrator is the glass cannon, weapons user. The Drell was the glass cannon caster, high damage output, but really, really weak. And now that a bunch of stuff has come out that kind of outclasses it, it's, weak and is, just slightly above average in terms of damage output. So they said that they're probably going to tweak it just a little bit, maybe increase the damage of his powers, or probably increase his health just to make him usable again, make him have his own little niche. So that's good. I do like me some Drells. They also are going to buff Singularity, because if you play Adepts at all, especially the human Adepts, you know that there's not many points that go into Singularity, at most 3 pity points or something like that. So what they're going to do is they're going to make Singularity affect shielded enemies, and I'm assuming this is going to be an evolution, probably like a rank 6, saying oh, Singularity can now pick up shielded enemies, but who knows? And the other thing that you're planning on doing is that detonating a Singularity with a Biotic explosion will not end the Singularity. So if an enemy gets caught in the Singularity effect and you detonate it with a throw or something, that the Singularity will not end and they'll still be flying around and taking damage, which I think is cool. Buffing Singularity, that's definitely a good crowd control power that has a lot of potential, but especially on higher difficulties where there's more boss enemies, it's really just not as effective as it could be. So good to hear that they're changing that around a little bit. This one I wasn't too aware of, but I guess the rank 6 evolution of Shadow Strike don't have any effect. So, you can either get the Flaming Sword or the Lightning Sword that either does bonus damage to armor or shields. I guess those don't work. And I guess they're going to fix that in the patch, so they will. So, yeah, yay Fire Swords. Batarians and Krogans, if you play them at all, a lot, like I do, then you know that the Krogan and Batarians are pretty prone to getting stunlocked. Fighting against Geth with a Krogan is just a nightmare. So they did a good job, or they did an okay job of tweaking that with the giving barriers on the Krogan Vanguard stagger resistance, but it really isn't as good as it could be. So I guess they're going to change that, and they're going to make it so that they don't get stunned as often, which I think is good. That'll make them more playable. You won't have to, I can now play, random with my Krogan instead of just Cerberus. So that's a good thing. The other bug they're going to fix is the Cryo and Incinerate synergy bug. So Incinerate, they have a rank 6 evolution called Freeze Combo that says it's going to do 100% more damage to chilled and frozen targets. This does not work as of right now, but in the patch they said that they're going to fix it, so that's good. Again, I think this will make Cryo and Incinerate a more viable option because right now it's a little bit underused, so that'll be awesome. The other bug they're going to fix is with Concussive Shot. Rank 6 amplification evolution does not work, so it claims that it will apply ammo effects to your concussive shot. So if you're using disruptive ammo, it'll be like an electric concussive shot or a fire concussive shot if you're using incendiary ammo, and that would be really cool. Especially if you use warp ammo, it's supposed to put a warp effect on them. So that does not work right now, but I guess the patch is going to fix that, so that will work as well. Also, the Vanguard Glitch, if you don't know what that is, then, well, I don't know what to tell you, but it's pretty much is if you're playing on a bad connection, you can lag and you can get killed while you're charging as a Vanguard. And what that does is the game then gets really, really confused on where you are and where you died. And, whether or not you're supposed to be invincible or not. So it kind of just seizes up and poops itself. And then what happens is then when you're revived after you have gone down, then you're floating above the map. And that's been at the game since launch. They said they tried to fix it in the last patch, but it didn't. And, so hopefully this patch will fix that, as they're claiming. The other bug thing that they're going to fix is Ultralight Materials. So right now, Ultralight Materials on SMGs don't work on anything except the Geth SMG. The Geth SMG, it does work. Ultralight Materials on pistols does work. And if you have a pistol with Ultralight Materials and an SMG with Ultralight Materials, then both of them will work. But right now, if you just have Ultralight Materials on an SMG, that does not reduce your cooldown. It says it does, but it doesn't. So that's been also out since launch. They said they tried to fix it, but it didn't. And so now, hopefully after this patch, it will work as it says it does. This one I wasn't too aware of either. Apparently the power damage bonuses in the Asari Justicar passive don't work. I might be reading this wrong, but I guess though that's a bug, is that the power damage bonuses on the Justicar are a little bit buggy, and I guess they're going to fix that after the patch, so that's good. Also the Biotic sphere casting, this one I did know about, is that if you're next to an Atlas or a Brute or some big enemy, that sometimes you wouldn't be able to cast Biotic Sphere, which if you're playing an offensive Justicar is pretty debilitating, because you can't get those double Biotic explosions. So I guess they're going to make it so that you can, so that bug is not there, so you can cast it, no matter where the enemies are and how big they are. The other thing is that the Earth DLC said it was going to introduce a bunch of mods, and some of them they left out due to balance purposes. So the ones that are missing from the game are the Assault Rifle High Velocity Barrel, the Thermal Scope for the Assault Rifle, the Sniper High Velocity Barrel, the Sniper Thermal Scope, the Shotgun High Velocity Barrel, the Shotgun Omniblade, and the Pistol Heavy Barrel. So in the patch, these will be added, and added to your manifest. You can get them. They're going to be rare mods, so that will be good. More mods is awesome. And this is where stuff gets to get really awesome and really math heavy. So one of the things that is bugged right now is the Krogan Vanguard Rage bonuses. So you still get the health and shields bonuses from picking Rage, if you're doing that. But while you're in Rage mode, where your screen's all saturated and whatever, any bonuses that you get in a Krogan Sentinel or Krogan Soldier, those don't work on the Vanguard. So the damage reduction and the melee damage. However, they're going to fix this in the patch. So this is where stuff gets to get awesome. So this is where I decided to do a bunch of math, and I apologize if I got some of this wrong. If I did, just tell me. But before the patch, so if you max out health and shields in the fitness, you have 1,850 of both shields and health, which is a lot. Then if you max out barrier for damage resistance, you get 40% damage resistance. Most people, including myself, choose to take the reduce the power cooldown penalty, so you get 30% instead. But we're going with 40 right now. We're going to work with maximum. And one thing, I don't know if you know this, but damage reduction is actually only 2/3 of what it says in game. So in this case, if we had 30% damage reduction, it would actually only be 20%. So right here, it's 40% damage reduction. That's actually only 26. So so right now, Krogan damage resistance with max barrier is 26%. You also get 50% bonus damage reduction after you're done charging for about 4 seconds, I think. So after you're done biotic charging, you get 50% damage reduction. So 40% plus 50% is 90%, but that ends up being 60%. During heavy melee, you also get 50% damage reduction, unless you're a Batarian, but since we're Krogans, 50%. So again, if your damage resistance with barrier up and while you're heavy meleeing is still 90%. Damage reduction with barrier up after a charge and during a heavy melee is listed at 140%, but it's actually only 93%. So you're pretty close to being invincible there. And I think if you play a melee Krogan Vanguard, you realize you're like, wow, I can't really die if I'm doing that. So as long as you get the rhythm down, you're pretty much invincible. And this would be even more damage resistance if Rage worked, but it doesn't. So here's the math with the patch. So the health and shields are the same. The damage resistance with the max barrier is still the same, still 26%, or 40%, but 26. So after charge, that's all the same. So damage resistance in Rage mode is 30%. So 30% plus the 40% with barrier is 70%, or 46% with the actual damage resistance. So damage resistance in Rage after a biotic charge is listed at 130%, but is actually 85%. And damage resistance in Rage after biotic charge and during heavy melee is listed at 180%, or 119% of actual damage resistance. You heard me right, you have over 100% damage reduction. Meaning that if you are a Krogan Vanguard and you're in Rage mode, you're 4 seconds after biotic charge, and you're heavy meleeing, you are literally invincible. This is awesome, especially if you love Krogan Vanguards like I do. You can also do this with other stuff like defensive Justicar bubbles that increase damage resistance of people in there. This will add even more damage, so you might not need to be during a heavy melee or after biotic charge, you know. So the sheer amount of damage resistance you're getting is obscene, and you're literally invincible. So unfortunately, BioWare is aware of this. You know, people are saying like, wow, this is going to be ridiculous. I think that I saw a post saying that if you're in Rage mode with barriers up after a biotic charge, that the Krogan Vanguard has like 18,000 effective shields, you know, with damage resistance and everything. So that's, you know, I hate to use it, that's going to be overpowered. So unfortunately, BioWare's probably going to look at this and be like, probably going to have to decrease some of these damage resistance multipliers. So that's a thing. So unfortunately, that's all I could gather from the patch info on BioWare forums and stuff. So hopefully there's more fixes than that. I mean, we all know this game's pretty buggy, and hopefully this game will, hopefully all these fixes will actually work this time instead of patch 1.03, which didn't work. So yeah, that's all the info I got for you guys. Hope you enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe for more Mass Effect stuff. I'll see you later. Bye.